Welcome back to YouTube, people. How are we doing today? I'm going to take you through my chest workout and I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do if I had a very, very small and crap chest and I wanted to get a big dinner plate chest. So stay tuned, get ready for a push session and let's see what we can do. All right, you can be forgiven for thinking, what the hell is he on a row machine for? I thought we were doing push. What we're doing here, not to failure, this is like a warm-up, think about it as a warm-up. I'm just mobilizing all the muscles that are going to be involved in pressing, all right? So when we're pressing, there's a lot going on around the thoracic spine, there's a lot going on around your scapula. Obviously your shoulders are moving a lot, your rib cage is moving a lot, so we're mobilizing all that and getting it ready to go. If we prime it, we're going to feel much, much better when we're pressing, okay? So I'm going to do 2 sets here, literally as many reps in reserve as I need, probably like 5 reps in reserve, and I'm just getting my whole shoulder girdles moving forward and backwards. So retracting them as far as I can, retracting as far as I can, and getting my breathing mechanics right as well. So expanding the rib cage and let it depress as well. And then we're going to go into a little pec primer as well for anyone who cannot connect very well with their chest. So we'll hit one more here, and then we'll head over to the cables. Right, so what we're doing here, you might have seen this on my channel before. The great Luke Miller, No Switch Fitness, taught me this back in Prep 2022 in Destination Dallas, which we'll be returning to this year, which I'm very excited for. This is like a beautiful little pec primer. So you're going to set a cable up at a kind of shoulder height. You're going to then drive across with just your pecs and that costal, so that costal fibers here, the lower fibers of the pec. You're going to get there and then just go halfway back. So we'll do some shortened partial reps here. Not what we see from a hypertrophy perspective, but when you're trying to drive a connection to a muscle, it's all going to come in that shortened range. No one ever did a lengthened partial and said, oh wow, I've got a great squeeze on that, did they? That's because you're not squeezing the muscle. So we're going to do 5, 6 little short pumps here, and you're going to follow the cable up, and you're going to feel all your fibers engaging, and now my clavicular fibers are engaging now as well. And I'm just going to do the same here. So just 5 little pump reps across, and right away I can feel my pecs lighten up. And I know that as soon as I go into a heavy press, I'm going to have no issue with contracting my pecs through that movement. So there you go. That is a beautiful little pec primer. Do it for as many sets as you need. Again, it's not to failure. You're going to do 5 pump reps at the bottom, follow it up, 5 pump reps at the top, do that both sides. I actually connect with my chest really well, so it's not too necessary for me. So I'm just going to do 1 each side, and then we'll go into our first heavy press of the day. So the first big movement of the day, you need to think about this as like your big hitter. You need to choose the movement that you're going to get the absolute most out of for the whole session, because now you have the most energy. If you're just on that priming movement, then your pecs are primed, you're ready to press, you're feeling good to go. So I am picking here a flat press, a flat plate loaded Nautilus press. This is great for a few reasons. Number 1, it's heavy in the stretch. Number 2, it converges. So the job of the pec is to abduct the arm, or adduct the arm, sorry, so bring the elbow across the body. So here, so we really want something that doesn't just press straight out, but actually that comes across. So this Nautilus flat press is a great option. There's loads of good options. You can go with an incline dumbbell press, you can go with any real incline machine press that converges, or even a cable press would be good. But I would start with a nice heavy press that you can load up, and I would perform it in the 6 to 12 rep range, okay? So I'm going to go for 2 sets here of 8 to 12, and we'll get stuck in and I'll show you some cues when it comes to maximizing your chest press on your first movement. So first tip with chest training, this obviously applies to every muscle group, but we're talking about chest today. So range of motion, okay? I don't care what you're doing, whether it's a Smith press, whether it's a dumbbell press, whether it's a machine press, make sure that you're getting a full range of motion, okay? So in that warm-up, I don't know if you saw it, but when I come right into that deep stretch, I'm actually touching the weight on the bottom, which means I can't get any deeper. This machine comes with an adjustable seat. So I'm gonna pull the seat forward, that's as far as it goes forwards, as you can see. What that's gonna allow me to do is make sure that I'm getting full range of motion. What does this look like on other movements? If it's a dumbbell press, don't stop short. Make sure you're coming all the way down, yeah? Dumbbells can touch your chest. When I dumbbell press, I can get the dumbbells to touch my chest. I've got a very big rib cage and big tits. So So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. Assuming that I'm not talking to like James Hollingshead or something, but I bet he does it as well. So make sure you get full range of motion. That is tip number one. Okay, so when it comes to arm path, this is like set up point number two. I've adjusted the seat so that I can have my arms at about a 45-degree angle. So my humerus, my upper arm, is about a 45-degree angle to the body, okay? That is a pretty safe and pretty healthy and pretty comfortable angle to be pressing from. It's also gonna allow me to generate a decent amount of force, right? So I'm in this position, I've got my wrists and my elbows aligned, so I'm not out like this, and I'm not out like this. That's gonna mean that I'm less powerful. So elbows directly behind wrists, elbows relatively tucked, my scapula's back into the pad. Deep breath in, and we're gonna press. The two cues for motion are, number one, I'm driving my elbows across, okay? I completely forget about my hands when I'm pressing. Hands are just a vehicle, hands are just my grip. What I'm thinking about doing, driving that elbow across to the midline, so I'm thinking about meeting my elbows in the middle. It's never gonna happen, but if it could, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm thinking to push myself back into the bench, right? So I'm thinking, pushing right far forward, as far as I can, driving those elbows across my body, squeezing my pecs to the top, and then deep, deep stretch at the bottom. Final tip for chest pressing, and this can be on any movement, but it works particularly well on here and any other stable movement. When you're in that deep stretch, take a deep breath into your rib cage, okay? So we are down here, big deep breath in, that's gonna expand your rib cage and give your pecs more mass, more matter to stretch around. So you're gonna get a deep length and range stretch, then you're gonna be able to create force from there. We all know length and range is where you wanna spend time for muscle building, so it makes a lot of sense to do that, and it feels great as well. This obviously shouldn't need to be a tip that I got to give you, but train to failure, always. Yeah, take your chest training to failure. What more is there to say? If I had a pound for every time I've told someone that, I wouldn't be doing this YouTube channel, that's for sure. Right, that's me done on chest. I'll see you later. I'm joking. We're not far off though, which is a good point. For me, chest is a strong point. So in the off season, it didn't have much volume, and it doesn't have very much volume now. For you, if you're trying to build your chest and it recovers well, jack up that volume, man. If your chest is recovering a day after your session, then train it again. Or if you have 2 chest days and it's recovering between each session, then increase your volume, do more sets, add some intensifiers, make sure you're in a calorie surplus. But the moral of the story is, if you have a weak body part and you are training it well, so make sure your form is good, which is something else we'll talk about, but it's recovering well, you're finding that, you know, you've got days in between your sessions where your chest is recovered, or put some more volume in there, or add a 3rd day in. If you're training chest once a week and you've got a weak chest, that's your first issue. So make sure you have 2 push days, or an upper day and a push day. If you're training it twice a week and it's recovering well, then you've got more room to push. That is the most simple and probably overlooked proxy of potential growth. We know that DOMS and soreness isn't a direct correlation to more growth, but what it does mean is, you know, providing you're progressing your training and providing your chest is recovering in order to progress it again, then you've got more in the tank. So do 3 sets here, do another few sets. On your next day, do more sets, and so on and so forth. So look at volume. If you are confident you're training your chest well and it recovers well, add more sets in. Okay, so if I had a weaker chest and I wanted a super comprehensive chest workout, I would go from that, either a low incline or a flat press like I've just done, where I can shift as much weight as possible, and then I'd move over to a bit more of a high incline press. So I'm talking 45, maybe even to 60 degrees, and I would perform either another relatively heavy press, but something that's stable. So I wouldn't move from a machine to dumbbells, I'd more likely move from a machine to a Smith machine, so I'm super locked in, super stable, but I'd make sure that the bench angle is high enough that I'm gonna be getting a decent portion of that clavicular pec fiber, right? So the pec is split into 3 fibers. You've got clavicular, which runs across the top. The pec is a fan shape. So I think we always want to align the line of force or the line of resistance or resistance with the fibers that we're trying to chain. So the pec, if you think about it as a fan, the clavicular fiber is going to go across here. Then we've got sternal, and then we've got costal, right? So any decline pushing this way, or even a flat press, is going to mostly hit costal and sternal. Then you've got these clavicular ones, which people always forget about. Now, people don't necessarily forget about them, but they will try and chain them with like a 30-degree incline press, and they're pressing and they're arching their back. So all they've done there is they've completely changed the sternal angle, and their clavicular fibers now pushing this way, but they're pushing this way. So again, it's still working the costal and the sternal. So if you want to target that upper pec fiber, you really do need to be doing like a much higher incline. So 45 degree, don't then get on that bench and then arch your whole back, right? Try and stay locked in, okay? So as I said, if I had a weak chest, I'd go from that heavy press, I'd go into another decently heavy press, and I'd probably recommend like a high incline Smith press or a high incline machine press. For me, however, I'm going to go into a pec fly because I have a decent chest. Right guys, I just want to interrupt this video just to say, I never advertised this before, but coaching is my full-time job. This is what I do every single day when I'm not creating these videos or bodybuilding myself. So if you are looking for someone to help you with accountability, strategy, if you don't quite know which direction to take your physique, if you're just finding yourself spinning your wheels or not progressing at the rate that you want to, then hit the link in the description. You can inquire for coaching. We can jump on a free strategy call. We can talk about maybe how I can help you. Absolute worst case scenario, you go away with some free information. Best case scenario, we get involved, start coaching together and help you achieve something you've never thought was possible with your physique. So enjoy the rest of the video, but if you are interested in coaching, click the link in the description and we'll have a chat. Where's that a D handle? What the fuck? Promise that I got you back. It's gonna be a bit tricky, this is. Okay, so we've moved on to a D-handle pec fly here. You can obviously do this on a machine or a cable stack like this. Two things. Number one, make sure you're stable. I see way too many people doing this stood up and I just don't know why. Like, it's just a shitter movement. Sit down, brace your back against something, whether that's a pec deck machine or a bench on a cable fly, even a dumbbell fly would be fine. But just make sure that you're stable. Because if you're not and your body is just floating around in space, when you try and shift that weight, your body's going to move backwards. You're going to lose out on either force production or load or tension, and these are the drivers of hypertrophy. So make sure your back is braced and get yourself a nice length and range challenge. So you can see here, as I get into this, when I start to contract, the cable is at a perfect right angle to my hand and my wrist. That means it is maximally heavy or maximally hard in that position where I am maximally strong or lengthened or need the tension, right? So if we get into position without falling off the bench, you can see that I've got max tension here, right? This is where it's hardest. And then it drops off in the short. So as I come across, the cable gets closer and closer to the axis of rotation, which means the movement drops off more and more and more. So it's heavy here and it's lighter here, which is good, because I'm going to fatigue more in that shortened range. So what I've done there is a my-rep pause set, 1 set to failure, 3 to 5 breaths, rest, go again, rest, and then we go one more time. And this is a really good way to make sure that you're training with intensity and truly finding that failure point. It also enables you to get more work done in a shorter period of time. A really nice way to look at the my rep pause sets is it basically, because we do that first set to failure, we're then just like skipping our way to the effective reps, the stimulative reps. So I've obviously gone to failure there with 12 reps, then 3, and then 3. Those second 2 clusters, that's 6 reps, are all going to be highly stimulatory, highly effective, potentially highly fatiguing, but that's what we want. And of course, I've also got the hard reps at the end of the first set. So I've just accumulated like 2 or 3 sets worth of hard reps, effective reps, stimulating rep, high tension rep in one set. So if you are short on time, my rep pause sets are a fantastic way to cram more hard work into a short period of time. So again, I've just done 1 set on that. If I were you, and you're in a surplus, and you're trying to grow your chest, I would do 2 of those, maybe 3 of those if you're recovering. Right, so a couple of mistakes people make, or just don't do when it comes to chest training. Number 1, resist all temptation to think about your hands, right? I see so many people on pec decks doing like the tree hug. Yeah, they might start well, or maybe they don't even start well, and they just do this all the time. It's your pec's job to take your humerus, which is this bone here, from here to here. So if you do this, you're not getting anywhere. That's not even like a half rep. You're just moving your hands together, yeah? So always think about elbows together, or inner elbow together. That is a massive tip when it comes to chest. Number 2, please stop flat bench pressing. I beg you, stop flat bench pressing. I don't care who done it. I don't care if Ronnie did it. I don't care if Arnold did it. I don't care who did the flat bench press. I'm not saying flat bench is a bad movement. I'm saying I've seen more people tear their whole pec off doing it than I have build good chest from it. That's probably not true, but you get the message. We have way better options when it comes to chest pressing, right? I would say an incline dumbbell, if you have little to no kit, an incline dumbbell is absolutely fine. That is going to be a really good movement. Most incline machine presses are good, or machine presses generally that converge are decent. And then you don't have option, you know, if you don't have access to any of that, then a Smith press is good as well. The Smith is not quite as good because you're not going to converge, but then again, we're going to fatigue in the shortened range first. So maybe once you start with that converging press that we spoke about at the start, so like a Nautilus flat press or some sort of press that converges a dumbbell press, you can then move on to something a bit more stable, and you're going to challenge yourself in that length into mid-range. So you're going to spend time where it's heavy and where it's hard. And yeah, sure, you're not going to get all the way across, but it's fine. You're going to load it up with a lot of mechanical tension on a movement like a Smith press. So number 1, always think about elbows, not hands. And number 2, stop flat barbell bench pressing, because more often than not, it ends in tears. And I'll tell you one thing, if you tear your pec, you might as well kiss goodbye to ever having a nice looking chest, because you're gonna have this massive gaping hole here. And it's a sad sight to see. But there you go, 2 mistakes people make when chest exercise training. Chest exercise training, oh my God.
There's just on my lunch.
wouldn't be a chest video without a couple of tricep movements, but obviously that's not the focus of this video. However, if you don't have these two in your workouts, so get them in. So we've done a JM press there, go as heavy as you can, but the main thing we're aiming for here is just max elbow flexion. So we're trying to fold up the arms underneath. The bar's gonna come down, you're gonna fold the arms underneath, max range of motion, and then you're gonna drive. It's all tricep, there's nothing else coming in there, which is a very, very nice challenge. And then I guess this is really just a lighter version of that Rapunzel push down, a little bit more flexibility. But again, we're gonna get max challenge in that length and range, and it's a really nice squeeze at the bar. So I've got one set on here, and a my rep set there. If you're trying to bring your arms up, little bonus tip. Your arms are the thing where you really need to, as Val would say, go to hell on. I think you can train arms until you can't do a single rep because you're probably not going to get injured and you're probably just going to do yourself some benefit. So make sure your intensity is on point, make sure you're getting full range of motion with your arm and literally train them to the death. And that is your push workout done. Hope you enjoyed that video. We'll keep these training ones coming. Any questions, stick them in the comments and we'll see you next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Look, hold on, yeah. I ain't never lost cause I'm prayed up, now they mad at me. I done popped off and I praise God for the favor on me. Look, don't come around trying to chit chat, you just plotting on me. Yeah, I'm with breeze and we gon' slide when it get wicked, say, down south, yeah we up.